Hello? Hello? Anybody home?
Pardon my French, but you're an asshole.
I am McLovin.
This is Three is Company.
We're going streaky! Yeah!
Welcome into Three is Company. I am Q-Tip. Of course, we have Kylie Osborne and Preston Poole alongside with me on this special bracket episode that we're going to bring you ahead of the NCAA bracket. While we're recording this, so it's actually ahead of the first 4 games as well. So you should be hearing this the day of the first 4. So, and then hopefully you're listening to us as you're driving out to Twin Peaks for the 68 team giveaway. Right? This comes out tomorrow, Preston, right?
Yes.
I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this will so hopefully you're listening to us on your way to the 68 team giveaway, or this is a reminder to go to the 68 team giveaway. They've got some great prizes. You can listen to the Sports Animal all day to hear them. And of course, the great food, scenic views, and cold beer never hurt whenever you're going to a bar as well. So, but let's talk about the team that did not make the bracket first before we get into it. The Oklahoma Sooners, first team left out of the bracket. And a lot of people, if you're an Indiana State fan, if you're just a casual kind of college basketball fan, a lot of people circle Indiana State because Indiana State's actually higher in the net rate rankings that college basketball experts have put together. But they did not make it as well. However, the Sooners played in the toughest conference in all of basketball, conference that had the most teams make the NCAA bracket. I mean, hell, an argument could have been made that they should have had 2 number 1 seeds in both Houston and Iowa State. And Oklahoma gets left out of the bracket with 20 wins. Preston, I think it's kind of I don't know if it should be a warning. I don't know what to take of it, but the Sooners rested some players that probably could have played in the conference tournament, lost in the first round that they played. And they were okay with it because they were expecting to get into the NCAA tournament. So really the resting kind of hurt them. Yeah. And so Oklahoma doesn't make the tournament.
Well, and everything that could have went wrong in the conference tournaments.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, it did. You're right. There was a lot of bid stealers, but it's a disgrace that on Tuesday night we have to bet against on Virginia basketball. It just really is. Okay. I have bet on Virginia basketball a couple times this year, and it's terrible. I know there's a lot of people around the state that probably haven't watched Virginia basketball. I applaud you, all right? Because it's better to watch paint dry than watch this Virginia basketball team try to play offense or just get back on defense. And now we get to watch them play on Tuesday night and possibly, was it Thursday or Friday, whenever they're supposed to play, if they win the first 4 games against an equally as terrible Colorado State team. So it's just, it's a disgrace. And the selection committee should be investigated for what they did to this bracket because it's terrible.
My thing with OU is you had plenty of chances to win and get in. So
they lost to nothing but quad 1 teams. Preston,
yeah, I get it, but you win one of those games and you're in.
3 seeds. They lost to those people. There's nothing to hang your head on the people they lost to.
Exactly, but I'm saying if they win one of those, then there's no question, right? No question. They were the last team out.
Yeah, we get one of those wins. Virginia hasn't won a game since February. They haven't won a game. All right, I'm done. This wasn't more me defending Oklahoma, which they did, which I've seen, the people tweet out, maybe they should win the games. Yeah, okay. Look, they played against the top 20, top 15 teams in the country. It's hard to win those games, especially on the road, especially when you banged up, especially when you have all the injuries. They beat the people they were supposed to beat. It had a great non-conference.
They're one defensive stop away and a shot away from beating Houston. So, you do it there, you're in. There was a couple other games that, you go back and you look at it and like, all right, you win there and you're probably in. So it is what it is. I wouldn't have picked him past the first round anyways in the tournament. So, yeah. Outside of just playing in the tournament, I guess, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, but they were going to be such an easy under to bet, Preston. Like that's what the committee took away from me. That's what the
Well,
committee took
I
away.
would say you could bet them in the NIT, but they're not going. So.
Yeah, they said double birds to the NIT.
Which is smart now if you think about it, because the college basketball portal opened today, so
Yeah.
get an early head start on the portal and stuff.
All right, you guys ready to get into some brackets?
Let's do it.
Okay, so now Preston, we can start. Is your bracket start in the East?
Yes. So it'd be East. I say we go East, West, South, Midwest.
Okay, perfect, because that is how ESPN has it laid out whenever I have it up. Preston is going to tweet out the pictures of this so you can keep us honest whenever we try to lie and tell you that we have a perfect bracket. First game on the docket in the East is UConn against Stetson. This one should be pretty easy. At least it's easy for me. UConn is not getting upset by a 16 seed.
Yeah. UConn, what they beat every team last year by like 50 points in the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see if they can repeat. But yeah, UConn is the easy first pick.
Yep, UConn too.
UConn,
No analysis needed on that one.
Yeah, UConn across the board. This is going to be my first lower seed winning here. FAU, who should not probably have been inside this tournament, somehow get an 8 seed because the committee stopped watching basketball in January against Northwestern. And I think Northwestern beats FAU. FAU gets in off of name basis alone because of the run they made last year.
So I'll disagree with you there. It's the FAU, man. Who doesn't want to go to the FAU? What they made it to the
people who get into Florida.
They
I have FAU too, so
they were in the Final Four last year, right?
Last year.
Why not again? Why not again? That's why I have the Owls in that first round matchup.
Well, call me a hater. So we got 2 FAUs, 1 Northwestern right there. Call me a hater because San Diego State and FAU ruined my bracket last year, so I'm not picking either one of them this year. Give me UAB, the conference champions. UAB beat a Wichita State team that I thought was going to win it. No, they did not. 12 seed UAB with the upset. And that pick right there is going to win me money on the 22nd, Preston. I'm telling you right now.
Again, why not again, right? So give me San Diego State just because UAB that doesn't feel like a tournament team to me. I don't just the name. I'm not saying the actual basketball team, just the name. University of Alabama Birmingham. Too many words in there. So give me San Diego State.
I'm with you, Preston. San Diego State on that one. Well, so it looks like me and Preston are winning this, and Tyler's going to be out again.
We'll see. I might lose it right there in the first 3 games. Well, let's go to a school that likes words, and that's Yale. Ivy League champions on a game that I turned off. I'll be honest. Yale went down, was down by 4. I turned the game off when they went down and missed their shot, and Brown got the rebound. And then Yale ends up winning on a buzzer beater. Missed a hell of an ending because I was impatient. So playing the Auburn Tigers, this one's another easy one for me.
Yeah.
Auburn has been very good this year. Give me Auburn. There's gonna be no nerd upset.
Yeah, Auburn. Bruce Pearl was looking extra fat on the sideline the other day. He looked like the guy you see at the lake that's just standing on his pontoon with the biggest beer gut you can see. So
drinking Bush.
Give me Auburn.
I'm with you guys. Auburn all the way.
All right, let's go to the Mormons who had to.
First off, which team do you think has more white guys on it, Yale or BYU?
Yale, for sure, Yale. So BYU playing against, is it Duquesne? How do you say their name?
Duquesne.
Duquesne, thank you.
First time in the tournament since 1977.
Yeah, it's been 40-something years.
Yeah.
But BYU, that explosive offense, there's going to be no upset here. This team should not be ranked this high. This was a very lazy 11 seed by the selection committee. This is a 13-14 seed if I've ever seen one, but they put them at 11 to just get murdered by BYU. So give me.
And I think that's only because they won their conference tournament, right?
Yeah, because that was VCU, the number 1 seed in their conference, and probably should have been an 11 seed, loses to this college here that I'm not going to try to pronounce again. And the committee just slides them right into VCU spot.
Yeah,
I can't lie, truly. I picked BYU specifically just because I couldn't pronounce the other one and I didn't want to have to try.
Fair enough.
You're probably not alone. All right, there's a lot of people out there doing it that way. But yeah, I have BYU as well.
All right. Popular upset pick here is what I've been reading. I've been reading about college basketball all day. I really have a lot of work to do. So if you're my boss, please just skip past this part. Morehead State against the Big Ten champions, Illinois. There's going to be no upset here. Yeah. Not for me. Not so fast, my friend. Give me Illinois beating Morehead State. It could be a close game. I'm not arguing. But Illinois is going to find a way to win this with, I forget, it's something Johnson. I mean, 40 points in the semifinals, 34 points in the Big Ten championship game. Illinois is playing their best basketball right now.
Yeah, that's one of the teams I watched a lot of this weekend, and they were damn good. So yeah, I'm rolling with Illinois as well.
Same, Illinois.
All right, I just got a feeling about this one. You know how you read something and you just got a feeling. You kind of box score watch all year long.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I haven't seen Washington State play all year long.
At all. Didn't even know they were 7 seed worthy.
I've seen Drake play once. All right. I think these Drake Bulldogs are pretty damn good. So give me Drake over Washington State in another upset in this side of the bracket. 10 seed Drake moves on.
So I haven't been with you on many of the upsets, but I am with you on this one because Drake, just the name, that sounds like a tournament team.
Speaking of, guess who just landed here in Oklahoma City? Our other Drake.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Drake. Yeah, he has a show tonight in Paycom Center. But yes, Drake just sounds like a tournament team, so that's why I have them advancing against Washington State. That I had again no clue that they were 7 seed worthy this season.
Honestly, I did have Drake as well, and I just want to let everyone know that I already sent Preston a picture of this, so I'm not just like writing off them. We already have these locked in. He's keeping me honest.
All right, last game of the East region. We got the 2 seed Big 12 champion Iowa State against the South Dakota State Jackrabbits. Again, a really popular upset pick. A lot of people want to pick this game. Could be a close game. I have no idea what the spread is. I don't have spreads here in front of me, but it's Iowa State. I'm sorry. They're Iowa State, too damn good. I understand people want to take shots at them because they weren't ranked at the beginning of the year, and now here they are as a 2 seed in the NCAA tournament. Now, Iowa State's a 2 seed for a reason. Give me Iowa State.
Well, there was even talk about them being like one of the top 4 seeds by some people out there.
Yep.
But they land squarely in the 2 seed, so they never were or had a shot to be a 1 seed. But that being said, yeah, I'll roll with the Cyclones in this ballgame because, again, I watched them this weekend. When I started watching college basketball, and they looked very good. Won the Big 12 tournament.
Yeah, I have Iowa State too, for sure.
Perfect. Okay, so we're gonna go west now and not continue through the east. Right?
Correct. West.
Okay,
yeah.
Perfect. Just wanted to make sure before, so I didn't mess up your order here. All right, North Carolina against one of the first 4 teams. I think it's Howard and Wagner, right?
Yeah.
Is what the 2 teams. It doesn't matter who plays North Carolina. They're losing. So give me North Carolina. The Tar Heels move on to the round of 32.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you do this, Q-Tip, or if Kyle you did it, but you pick like the first 4 teams in. I don't do that because I don't care because it never matters.
Nope.
That's why I have UNC advancing as well.
Mm-hmm. North Carolina too.
All right, let's move on.
Plain and cut.
Yeah, let's move on to a team that shouldn't have been in the tournament as well. The Michigan State Spartans. The only reason they're in is because of their head coach and their logo. Yeah. They are terrible at the game of round ball right now. Okay, they're cold. They haven't won a game in a while. Mississippi State is going to beat Michigan State and beat them down and prove that Michigan State should have never been in the tournament. Mississippi State by 1 million.
Yeah, I wanted to pick Michigan State just because of Tom Izzo, but then I sit back and remember, no, they suck.
Yeah.
So I will not pick them. And I'll go with Mississippi State. Who did they upset in the SEC tournament? Was it Kentucky or no? It was Tennessee. They beat Tennessee. So they've at least beat one good tournament team. So I'll take Mississippi State.
I also have Mississippi State as well.
All right. And then another really popular upset pick. St. Mary's against GCU, Grand Canyon University, the home of upsets. I believe they got an upset. Was it last year, 2 years ago? Grand Canyon has been here, done that before with these upsets, and they're going to take their ass right back home, okay? They go back to Arizona. St. Mary's is going to come in. They're the whatever is West Coast champions, right? They beat the Gonzaga Bulldogs. Yeah. The St. Mary's it's a really popular pick because nobody's watched St. Mary's basketball all year. Let me tell you, I was locked into the Western Conference Championship game, okay? And St. Mary's a really good basketball team, so give me St. Mary's.
Yeah, they're always up in the top of that conference, always competing with Gonzaga in that conference. But I do have them advancing in this round. St. Mary's, that sounds like a tournament team as well. You have to sound like a tournament team for me if I'm going to pick you. So St. Mary's does sound like a tournament team.
So actually, I picked Grand Canyon. A little upset here. Yeah. If you want my logic on that, really, I just thought it sounded cooler.
Yeah,
that's fair.
So,
sometimes that's all it takes, you know?
Yeah.
That is fair. All right, Alabama against Charleston is the next game. There might be 300 points scored in this game. It might turn into an NBA shootout. Who knows what's going to happen here? But Alabama's got some of the best shooters in the entire country. And they've got a coach that's going to argue every single foul call. Doesn't matter if even it goes his way. So give me Alabama to beat Charleston.
Yeah, I have no analysis on Alabama, but I'm picking them just because they're playing Charleston, who didn't even know they had a basketball program.
I also have Alabama.
All right, now let's get to a couple of teams that this is where I pick another upset. I'm gonna spoil my pick here. The New Mexico Lobos playing the Clemson Tigers. Clemson did not have a great win all year long. Here's another team that has not won a game all month. They are one of, if not the coldest team going into the NCAA tournament. How in the world they're a 6 seed is remarkable. Again, this committee stopped watching basketball in January when Clemson was actually good. New Mexico is going to upset Clemson 11-6 here in the west side of the bracket.
Yeah, look, I would never cross a Patino, so that's why I'll take New Mexico as well. Shout out Richard over there in New Mexico. Maybe he could be the next Oklahoma State head basketball coach. Who knows? Yeah. But yeah, I'll roll with the Lobos.
I had New Mexico as well. Yeah, just looking at the records and really just kind of blind picking. I had New Mexico.
Here's a game that I think is going to be a lot closer than a lot of people are going to pick. Baylor versus Colgate. Colgate might be the best team that you've never heard of. They easily won their conference in the regular season. They got scary a little bit during their tournament. Okay, it was a little scary. They ended up winning it, pulling it out. Colgate is a very, very good basketball team. So is Baylor. So give me the Baylor Bears.
Yeah. I thought about this one and I thought, you know what? Baylor's a pretty good squad. 3 seed, Big 12. I'll roll with the Baylor Bears as much as I hate the whole university as a whole.
Yeah, no, I have Baylor too. I've been watching them play. They're actually gonna win. Not the whole thing, but out here.
Dayton versus Nevada, another really, really popular. I believe Nevada is actually favoring this game as of right now, which surprises me because Dayton's a good basketball team. Give me Dayton over Nevada. I don't understand the love for Nevada at all.
Yeah, look, there's a reason they play the first round or the first 4 games in Dayton. It's because they're a tournament team. So give me it's the Flyers, right? Give me the Dayton Flyers.
I had Nevada on this one. I had Nevada. So
okay. So Kylie's got a couple of picks in the west side that we don't have. So
surely these are going to come back to bite us in the butt for sure.
Oh
so.
yeah.
Listen, this is the winning bracket right here. So you guys need to pay attention.
All right, let's get to the funnest story in all of college basketball. Long Beach State. They decide to part ways with their head coach before the season's over. But they ask him, they say, hey, but are you good to coach the conference tournament? Knowing damn right and well they're not winning that thing.
Yeah.
Right? They have no shot. They're one of the lower seeds in the tournament. They have no shot. They said, hey, you go out on your last 2 raw, whatever you want to do. You're fired whenever you're done. Okay? And what does Long Beach State do? They go win the entire damn thing. Okay, the guy decided, you know what? It's not my job that should be questioned. It's the athletic director's job that should be questioned. So Long Beach State gets into the tournament and they get rewarded with one of the most talented teams in the tournament, Arizona. Arizona is going to end the dream of Long Beach State. They're going to end it in disasterly fashion. It's going to be ugly. Arizona is going to take Long Beach State, kick them back to the beach, and say, go enjoy spring break.
Yeah, and a lot of people have Arizona going pretty far in the tournament. So, yeah, give me Arizona. Even though that is a great story, right?
It is a great story.
I also have Arizona as well.
All right, let's go to the South and let's live out every teenage boy's dream. Houston versus Longwood. Just let that one soak in for a second. No. Listen, Longwood, I've watched them play. Okay, I know the jokes are there. All right. The Lancers, they're a very good basketball team. They came, I believe they were around 4 or 5. They're like the 4th, 5th seed in their conference tournament. They win the entire thing. They're a good, put together basketball team. The problem is a good put together basketball team doesn't win a game in college by only scoring 20 points.
Yeah.
Okay. Houston is going to guard them as soon as they come off the bus. So the Houston Cougars win this.
They're going to be glued to
Yeah.
them. Yeah. Houston, tough loss in the Big 12 championship game, but I mean, those guys can ball. I mean, they can be up 20 on you in the blink of an eye. So, yeah, I'll roll with Kelvin Sampson, his squad in the first round.
And yeah, I have Houston on that one. Yep.
It's a shame that they weren't the number 1 overall seed, which I know UConn's good, but
yeah, if they win the
pretty
Big
good.
12 tournament, they probably are, but
Yeah.
they lose that. And UConn won the Big East, right? So I believe they did.
Sure, yeah.
I don't remember who won the Big East, but I think it was UConn. They beat Marquette. All right, next game, Nebraska, and what might be the funnest team to watch. I cannot pronounce the player's name. Kisi Taminga? Tamininga?
Oh, the Japanese player?
Yes, the Japanese player who will drop.
Wears 30 because Steph was his favorite player, and they call him the Japanese Steph Curry.
Yeah, and he is so much fun to watch. Nebraska is such a great team. And sadly, the Aggies are going to come in, the hottest team in college basketball right now. They're going to come in, and they're going to put an end to it early. And we're not going to – listen, Texas A&M takes a lot of joy out of everything. Okay, it does not surprise me that Texas A&M is going to take joy out of the tournament in the first round. So give me A&M.
Texas A&M. Yeah, they were one of the teams that I watched in the SEC tournament. They lit it up. So that's why I picked them. I did also watch Nebraska as well. To me, they weren't as interesting as some other teams out there, but still a good squad. But I think A&M, with their firepower, I mean, they were putting up some points in that SEC tournament. So I'll roll with the Aggies.
Mm-hmm. I have, A&M.
All right, let's get to the Big Ten champions, the Wisconsin Badgers, against James Madison. James Madison, JMU. If you watch Selection Sunday, they pointed it out every single time. One of 3 teams that have 30 wins going into the NCAA tournament. Wisconsin, Big Ten champs, right? They beat Purdue, a number 1 seed, to get in before the tournament. They were going to get in either way, but they're a 5 seed. Coming off the high of a Big Ten champion. That's why you give me James Madison University over the Wisconsin Badgers. It's not even close. JMU blows the doors off of them. Wisconsin can take their Big Ten title, the most overrated conference in all of America, and ship it back home.
Yes, and you took my stat because again they did say that about 100 times during the selections show. You said 1 of 5 teams to win 30 games in
the 5. I said 3, so
it might have been. I can't remember. But that was my stat. The 30 game mark. So yeah, look, I'm rolling with the Dukes. I'm hoping for a Duke versus the Dukes matchup in the second round.
Yeah, no, you guys may be right, but I have Wisconsin on this one.
They look pretty good in the Big Ten tournament, but the Big Ten also kind of sucks. So
Yep. And I think it will be a Dukes versus Duke matchup. The Blue Devils beat Vermont. Listen, the Catamounts are not very good. Okay, they get in because they win their tournament. It was a terrible tournament. Okay, I bet on about every game of it. And I hated myself every night that I sat up and watched the Vermont Catamounts because it was ugly, ugly basketball. So Duke is, I understand Duke is not hot right now. They get beat in the first round of the ACC tournament, the first round that they played at least. But Kyle Filipkowski, he's gonna find a way to recover from his early season injury and come back and beat Vermont.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be much of a matchup. So yeah, give me the Blue Devils.
Yep, Duke.
All right, the Texas Tech Red Raiders against the NC State Wolfpack, ACC champions, NC State Wolfpack. Bid stealer, by the way. The only way they got in was by winning the ACC tournament. And they did. And if you have not seen the big man that likes to get down and get ugly inside, you are missing out on NC State basketball. Give me NC State to upset Texas Tech. NC State is peaking right now. They have more wins in Capital One Arena than the Washington Wizards, and they are hot. So I'm going to ride the hot hand here. Give me NC State.
This is bad because we're thinking on the same wavelength a little bit, because I picked NC State only because of the big man. He's about 6'5", 300 and something pounds, but the Duke can ball, and they went out and they won the ACC tournament. So yeah, give me NC State against Texas Tech as well.
Okay, well, I have Texas Tech on this, so we'll see.
All right. Kentucky versus Oakland. Kentucky is one of the most talented teams in all of the tournament. So give me Kentucky on this one.
Yeah, the highest scoring team that Calipari's had, I think, at Kentucky
I think so.
is the stat for them. So yeah, give me the Wildcats.
Yeah, I have Kentucky on that.
I truly believe if Kentucky wore those blue and white armbands like they did in the John Wall era, they would be a 2 seed. Like, that's how good the team is. All right. Florida against Boise State / Colorado. This is where me and Preston are going to get off on the same wavelength, because I think the Colorado Buffaloes win the first 4. Then they go play the Florida Gators and they beat Florida.
You've got Colorado.
I've got Colorado. Look, I'll just roll with either one. Okay. Now I know we're not going to sit there and play the game, but I'll roll with either one, because I think one of the first 4 teams that gets in is going to win a basketball game. And I think it's going to be against the Florida Gators. So I'm going to say it's Colorado, but I will also ride with Boise State if it's Boise State.
Well, I wrote down Colorado, so I'll put like a slash here before it and go Boise State.
Don't worry, they won't be going far. So
yeah. Okay. Like I said, I'm not picking any of the first 4 in, so give me the Florida Gators.
Yeah, I also have Florida.
All right. One of the most talented teams in all the country, especially if they've got Tyler Kolak. I can't remember if it's an A or an R or a K that in his name in Marquette University. Give me Marquette over Western Kentucky. Marquette, even without their star, they're still a very good basketball team. So give me Marquette.
Yeah. They were one of the ones I had going pretty far last year in my bracket. I love them again this year. So give me Marquette.
Marquette. Yep, I have that too.
All right. Purdue against, I'm going to guess this is Montana State, MTST, or Grambling University. Yeah. Okay. Listen, I know it's fun to pick Purdue, who got beat by a 15 seed 2 years ago, 16 seed last year, and here they are again in the Midwest region going against one of the first 4 teams. It's not happening. Purdue.
Purdue, they are my fraud of the tournament. I will say that right now. And being my fraud comes with some stipulations that we'll find out in next round. So, but right now, give me the Boilermakers to make it out of the first round.
I have Purdue as well.
Utah State against TCU, the Horned Frogs. Against you, I'll be honest. I know Utah State. I've read a lot of great things about Utah State. Never seen them play. I have seen TCU play a lot this year. One of my favorite players to watch, because, and you'll see, he reminds you of DeMar DeRozan. Okay, Emmanuel Miller. I'm not sure how you say it, but we'll say it both ways just in case, because this man deserves respect on his name, and he is going to lead the Horned Frogs into another run past the round of 32 like they didn't get last year, because I bet a lot of money on them last year, and they let me – no. They didn't let me down. You see, TCU came through, and they won my heart because they hit a doesn't matter at all 3 to cover. So I got to ride with that just because they have my heart. I can't say no to the Horned Frogs.
So
I'm horny.
A few years ago, I was at the OU TCU Big 12 championship game, and I said some things to the TCU football account that they blocked me.
Yep.
Since then, I don't care for TCU. So give me Utah State, and we'll talk a little bit more about them in the next round.
Okay.
Okay, well, I'm with Tyler on this. I have TCU, so.
Preston, you and I have been
We'll see.
working together too long. You couldn't even crack a smile out of me. You're a true pro. All right, Gonzaga versus, is it McNeese? Is that how
Yeah,
you say it?
McNeese State. Yeah.
McNeese State University. Look, McNeese isn't very good. Okay, I mean, there's not a lot of analysis that has to go into here. Gonzaga gets a gift in the first round, so give me the Bulldogs.
Yeah, give me Gonzaga. I think that they not as good as like previous years, obviously, right? Down to a 5 seed, because normally you see them, 1 to 2 seeds somewhere in there. But I still think they're still a good basketball program. So give me Gonzaga, the Zags.
I also have Gonzaga.
All right, Kansas versus Samford. The Jayhawks should be getting McCullough, should be getting Hunter Dickinson back. So it's not going to be the same Jayhawk team that we saw in the Big 12 tournament. So give me Kansas, and we'll talk more about them here in a little bit on my end.
So Kansas. Yes, I'll take Kansas as well. Going to be a good matchup between two teams that aren't really crazy good, but still have, good program history in Gonzaga and Kansas in the second round.
Yeah, I'm with both of you. It's Kansas.
All right. South Carolina against the Pac-12 champion Oregon Ducks. Another very popular upset pick in the NCAA tournament. Oregon, I mean, the only way they got in was by winning the Pac-12 tournament.
Yeah.
They have a couple of upsets there.
One of those bid stealers we talked about.
Exactly.
Earlier,
yeah. They beat Colorado in the Pac-12 title, and they get into the tournament just to face South Carolina, the Gamecocks, one of the best teams all year long, who were disgraced by having a 6 seed. They're going to come out pissed off. They're going to beat Oregon.
South Carolina. That's one of the teams I haven't really watched this year, but I am going to pick them in their first round matchup.
Yeah, I have South Carolina over Oregon as well.
Creighton versus Akron. Akron shouldn't even be in this tournament. One player makes a mistake, and they're in. Creighton's going to wipe the floor with them. Give me the Blue Jays.
Creighton. Yes, Creighton. One of my favorite teams in the tournament. I
Yep.
will say that. So, yes, I will be riding with the Blue Jays.
Me too, Creighton.
Texas versus the 2 worst teams in the entire tournament, either Virginia or Colorado State. It doesn't matter. They could combine, and they would still maybe only score 40 points in this game. Give me Texas.
Yeah, I'm in, just because I'm very interested in the second round matchup that I would love to happen. So, yeah, give me the Longhorns.
I have Texas.
Tennessee versus the St. Peter's Peacocks. St. Peter's comes back in their tournament. They have a 4 seed. They find a way to upset the 1 seed, beat the 2 seed, win their tournament just to face the Tennessee Volunteers, and they're going to get their ass kicked. So give me Tennessee.
Tennessee. Yes, that's the matchup I want to see in the second round. Is Texas first. Tennessee, the Rick Barnes factor is what I am very interested in seeing.
Yeah, Tennessee on this one.
All right, back to the top of the bracket here. UConn Northwestern. UConn, very, very good team. The number 1 overall seed for a reason. Northwestern's really not that great, so give me UConn.
Yeah, I had UConn versus the FAU, but yeah, give me UConn as well to move on to the Sweet 16.
I also had UConn and FAU, and I have UConn winning that one.
UAB, at least in my bracket, UAB versus Auburn is what I have here. Give me the Auburn Tigers to move on. UAB, their Cinderella run is going to come to an end right here in the round of 32.
Yeah, I had Auburn as well, but I had them taking on San Diego State. Auburn moving on to the Sweet 16.
I also had San Diego and Auburn with Auburn moving on.
BYU versus Illinois in the round of 32. Again, it's going to be another very fun game. But Illinois finds a way to win this one over BYU in what might be an 80-80.
Oh, I think we might have lost them.
Oh no.
We'll take them down
Finally,
until
it
we get
wasn't me
them back.
this time.
Yeah. Look, I got Illinois as well. I think Illinois. I watched them all weekend in the Big 12 or Big 10 tournament. They were great. So yeah, give me Illinois as well. And I think you had them playing
BYU.
Yeah, you had them against BYU. So yeah, we'll both take. Here we go. We got him back.
My fault.
No, you're good. Are good. Yeah, so we just all agreed on Illinois.
Did you hear my pick of Illinois too?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Iowa State versus the Drake Bulldogs. This is where I think Iowa State goes down. Listen, there's two things that are guaranteed in life. Death, I'm trying to avoid taxes, so I'm not going to say 3. Death, and if you're a Bulldog in an NCAA tournament, you're pretty damn good. Okay, so just off of the mascot alone, give me Drake upsets Iowa State.
Drake has them beating the Cyclones. I don't though. I will take the Iowa State Cyclones to beat the Drake Bulldogs in the second round of the tournament.
I have Iowa State beating Drake as well.
Mississippi State versus North Carolina, at least in my bracket, starts off the round of 32 in the West. North Carolina gets by Mississippi State pretty easily.
Yeah, I have UNC moving on to the Sweet 16 as well.
Mm-hmm. Me too, against Mississippi State.
Alabama drops 90 on St. Mary's and moves on into the Sweet 16. That's how I have my bracket playing out here.
Okay, let's see. Alabama. I don't think so. Not so fast, my friend. Give me St. Mary's. Like I said earlier, they just sound like a tournament team, and that's good enough for them to get into the Sweet 16. Look, as much as you want to sit here and say how good Alabama is, they might score 1,000 points. It's still March. It's still the NCAA tournament, and upsets are meant to happen. That's why I have the St. Mary's, whatever their mascot is, which it's only a 5 versus a 4 seed, but I still think St. Mary's wins that one.
The Gales.
The Gales.
So
That's right.
I had a Grand Canyon, and Alabama is going to destroy them.
Fair enough.
All right. So you
Fair
guys have
enough.
Alabama in the Sweet 16. I have St. Mary's.
New Mexico versus Baylor in my side of the bracket here. I'm going to take the Baylor Bears, the New Mexico. What is their Lobos?
Lobos.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Lobos. They're done. Round of 32 is where their dreams come to an end.
Yeah, I wanted to see Patino in the Sweet 16, but I just can't do it. So I took the Baylor Bears as well.
I also have Baylor against New Mexico.
Arizona versus Dayton in my bracket. Give me the Wildcats.
Yes, I think Arizona is poised for a deep run this year.
Yes, Arizona is going to come in and beat Nevada.
Okay. Houston versus Texas A&M. Texas A&M might be one of the hottest teams in the country, really winning their way into such a high seed. Good. Sorry about you. You get Houston in the round of 32. The Cougars are going to suffocate the Aggies here and go on to the Sweet 16.
I completely agree. The defense that they play and their ability to just go on runs when it comes to just scoring points is crazy. So give me the Houston Cougars as well.
I have Houston against A&M. Yep.
James Madison versus Duke is what I have here. James Madison. Again, let's just say it again. Okay, let's be like Selection Sunday. One of the only teams in the entire tournament with 30 wins going into the thing.
Yeah.
The Duke Blue Devils did not get past their quarterfinals of the ACC tournament. Did Duke get exposed? Did Duke get exposed by a court storming? Yes, they did. Give me JMU to move on to the Sweet 16 in the second weekend of the NCAA tournament.
I'll say it right now. We'll put a stamp on it. They are the darlings of the tournament because I also have the Dukes, JMU, moving on to the Sweet 16.
I have Wisconsin against Duke, and I have Duke to come out. So
Okay.
Someone's
NC
rolling
State-
with the Blue Devils.
Yeah,
yeah.
somebody likes the Duke. NC State versus Kentucky. NC State, again, one of the hottest teams in all of college basketball. Winning the ACC tournament. 5 games, 5 days, 5 wins. Make it 6. It's going to end at 6. Give me Kentucky. The Wildcats.
Kentucky. Yes, I also have Calipari and his Kentucky Wildcats advancing past NC State. No matter how big that guy is and how good he plays, I think Kentucky is just, they score too many points. So,
Well, I had Kentucky against Texas Tech, but Kentucky is moving forward.
Marquette against Boise State / Colorado in my bracket is what I have here. The Broncos, the Buffaloes, you could throw in a Hawk, an Eagle, doesn't matter. The Marquette, I believe they're Golden Knights, right? Isn't that what they are?
Golden Eagles.
Golden Eagles, thank you, are going on to the Sweet 16.
Yes, Marquette could be another darling, I think. They're a 2 seed, but they're pretty damn good. Shaka Smart, he's the 6th man for them. He's out there on the court at all times. Give me Marquette moving on to the Sweet 16.
I had Marquette against Florida, and I have Marquette moving on as well.
I had Purdue versus TCU in the Midwest. I know what Preston's about to do. I can't get behind it, so give me Purdue.
That is a shame because I watched the mess of a Big Ten tournament that was this weekend, and I watched Zach Edey just constantly get whistle after whistle after whistle after whistle after whistle in that tournament for plays that weren't even fouls. I mean, he hit the guy from Wisconsin on the head. The ball goes out of bounds, and they called it out on Wisconsin and Purdue ball. Look, I hate to sit here and call, home cooking, but when I see home cooking, I'll call it. That was some home cooking in the Big Ten tournament for the Boilermakers. They're my fraud of the tournament. I had them playing Utah State, and I got Utah State beating them and going into the Sweet 16.
I had Purdue playing TCU, and I think that Purdue is moving on from that.
You guys are falling for it. You're falling for it.
Kansas versus Gonzaga. I know everybody sees that Kansas team at the end of the year, and they say that they're not very good. That maybe they're not very deep. Look, doesn't matter. Okay, you're playing 2 games, and then you get a week off. Kevin McCullough, Hunter Dickinson, they're gonna play. Whenever those 2 guys are out there, that is one of the best basketball teams in the country. Give me the Kansas Jayhawks beating Gonzaga to move on to the Sweet 16.
All right, you have the Jayhawks. I have Gonzaga winning against the Jayhawks and moving on to the Sweet 16. I think they're both teams that are down this year in comparison to where they normally are. And I just can't, in my right conscience, pick the Jayhawks to do anything. So that's why I'll pick Gonzaga to beat Kansas.
I have Gonzaga beating Kansas.
All right. Now we're going to move on to who is my darling of the tournament. Just a spoiler. The Gamecocks, all right, of South Carolina are going to beat the Creighton Blue Jays on their improbable run. I'll tell you where it ends here in a little bit. South Carolina beats Creighton and moves on to the Sweet 16.
You're wrong, because Creighton is a damn good basketball team. They got Papa McBuckets up there in Omaha coaching them, right? It's a shame we couldn't get these guys in Omaha in the first round, by the way, all right? Let's work that out, okay, to get Creighton in Omaha in the first round. But, give me the Blue Jays. They might be a darling for me this year, even as a 3 seed.
I also have Creighton coming in and beating the Gamecocks in this.
You guys are wrong there. Texas versus Tennessee.
But at least, we can, leave it up for a little bit of debate. Purdue just stinks in the tournament. You guys are sitting here.
Look, it's bias. It's recency bias. Okay.
Yeah. It happens every year though. So I don't know if that's recency bias.
Tennessee versus Texas in the last game of the round of 32 for us. And Dalton Knecht, I think that's how you say his last name. White guys rejoice around the world because there is finally a basketball player that is keeping us up with the rest of the world. Okay, Tennessee beats Texas, moves on to the Sweet 16.
Tennessee. Oh, if I can spell it right. Yeah, I have the Volunteers moving on as well against the Longhorns.
Hmm. In a game that has far too much orange, Tennessee is going to come out winning.
Yeah. I love their checkerboard warm-ups.
Mhm.
Those are
That
awesome.
is fun.
Those are really fun. We had those whenever I played at Tuttle. We got red and white ones. That was
Oh,
whenever
yeah?
we thought we were rich. Now those kids probably have like 8 different sets of warm-ups. They probably throw
Oh,
them
yeah.
away every single time they're done with them. All right, UConn versus Auburn, back to the top of the bracket for the Sweet 16. UConn's the number 1 overall seed for a reason. Auburn should give them a tough basketball game. Doesn't matter. UConn's going to beat them.
Yeah, I have UConn advancing to the Elite Eight as well against the Auburn Tigers.
Me too. Same on both.
Illinois versus Drake in my bracket. The one of the upset picks that I had made it get all the way to the Sweet 16, and that's where the run ends. The Illinois Fighting Illini move on to the Elite Eight in my bracket.
Yeah, Brad Underwood's got them guys playing good. Would have been cool if he could do that at state school, but unfortunately that didn't happen. So, but I will roll with the Illini heading into the Elite Eight. I had them taking on the Iowa State Cyclones.
Yes, I had Illinois and Iowa State, and actually I chose Iowa State, what I have written down on this paper. So we're rocking with it.
Not a bad pick. They're a 2 seed. Yeah, they're a 2 seed. Illinois is a 3.
2 seed Big 12 champion. North Carolina versus Alabama is what I had in my bracket here. I've been going back and forth while you guys have been making your picks. Man, it's tough for me because Alabama scores a million points a game, but they play 0 defense. Give me North Carolina. Move on to the Elite Eight.
Yes, I have UNC moving on in my Elite Eight, but I have them beating St. Mary's in the Sweet 16.
I with Tyler on this one, North Carolina is going to come in and beat Bama.
Baylor versus Arizona. Give me the Wildcats in Arizona. It's gonna be a chalk final or a chalk Elite Eight so far in the West.
Yes, yeah, I have Arizona advancing as well. They're they're one of the best teams in the country for a reason. So,
hey, listen, I have Baylor. I have Baylor against the Wildcats. We'll see.
All right,
Baylor. So you got Baylor going on to the Elite Eight.
Mm-hmm.
One Big 12 team at least.
Houston versus James Madison in my bracket. The 12 seed makes it all the way to the Sweet 16, and that's where they end. Give me the Houston Cougars. Moving on to the Elite Eight.
Yes, look, we've already said how good Houston is, yada, yada, yada. Copy, paste, put that right here. Give me the Houston Cougars against James Madison.
I have Houston beating Duke, but yeah, Houston.
Kentucky versus Marquette. Is Kolak, however you say this guy's name, I guess I could hit the preview button and really tell you. It doesn't matter. It's Kolak. Is he playing for Marquette? Doesn't matter. Kentucky's one of the best teams in the country. Give me the Kentucky Wildcats.
I am going to disagree with you here. Give me the Marquette Golden Eagles. I loved them last year. I love them this year. I've said that already. So give me Marquette into the Elite Eight.
I have Kentucky over Marquette.
In a game of whistles, there's one whistle that will reign all, and that is the Jayhawk whistle. The Kansas Jayhawks beat the Purdue Boilermakers in what is the most home-cooked game you've ever seen in your entire life. Okay? The Kansas Jayhawks not only have 2 of the most talented players in all of college basketball, they've got 3 guys in stripes rooting for them as well. Give me the Kansas Jayhawks to the Elite Eight.
So I differed here with this one. I have Utah taking on Gonzaga, and I have Gonzaga moving on to the Elite Eight.
I have Purdue and Zaga, and I am still riding with Purdue. I know Preston hates it.
All right, I've got the Gamecocks of South Carolina against the Tennessee Volunteers. A little SEC matchup, and I watched this game. I watched this game earlier in the year. I was really excited for South Carolina. I was like, let's see what this team is all about. And Tennessee beat them 66-59. These 2 teams matched up twice during the year, though. South Carolina beat them 63-59. This is a rubber match. The Gamecocks, the Volunteers, the Checkers. I don't know what the actual a rooster, right?
Yeah.
I'll say the word because our boss might fire me. Give me South Carolina in the Elite Eight, taking down white boy across the country, Tennessee Volunteers. It's over for him.
Yeah, so in this matchup, I had Creighton versus Tennessee, and I'm taking Creighton to the Elite Eight. I'm rolling with the Blue Jays.
Really? Okay, I have Creighton and Tennessee, but I picked Tennessee to come out.
There has not been a repeat champion since 2006-2007. UConn against Illinois to start us off in the Elite Eight, and there's not going to be a repeat champion in 2024 either. So give me Illinois, the Fighting Illini. Brad Underwood moves on to the Final Four and beats the UConn Huskies.
I wanted to so bad pick Illinois to go to the Final Four until I saw that they would have to take on UConn in the Elite Eight, and that's why I am picking the Huskies to go on to the Final Four.
I have UConn against Iowa State, and UConn is moving on.
North Carolina gets into the spotlight again against the Arizona Wildcats, and we saw what they did whenever they were in the ACC tournament game. Roy Williams ain't on the sidelines anymore, boys. Give me the Arizona Wildcats. Future Big 12 team Arizona Wildcats moves on to the Final Four.
I agree with you there. I will take the Arizona Wildcats over the North Carolina Tar Heels to advance to the Final Four.
So I had North Carolina against Baylor, and I have North Carolina coming out.
North Carolina against, okay. Houston versus Kentucky in my bracket. The Wildcats versus the Cougars. There could be a potential of 2 Wildcats in the Final Four. There won't be, though, okay? Houston Cougars play the best defense in what is probably in the last 20 years, okay? Probably since they invented the three-point line, the Houston Cougars suffocate you. Soon as they step off the bus, they're guarding you, all right? So, yeah, give me the Houston Cougars.
So you have Houston into the Final Four, and I do as well. I have them beating Marquette in the Elite Eight to advance to the Final Four.
Yes, I have Houston beating Kentucky.
Kansas has a chance to go and play Houston again after what Houston did to them to end the Big 12 regular season. In embarrassing fashion, the Houston Cougars kicked the hell out of the Kansas Jayhawks. Kansas is going to take their ball. They're going to go home, back to Kansas, and the South Carolina Gamecocks, in what has been a remarkable year, picked to finish last in the SEC, make it all the way to the Final Four.
Yeah, that makes me feel not as bad for picking the team that I'm going to pick to go to the Final Four out of this region. Because I have Gonzaga taking on Creighton, and I am taking Creighton to the Final Four to take on the Houston Cougars.
The Blue Jays.
All right. Well, I have Purdue and Tennessee, and I picked Tennessee to move on.
All right, my Final Four starts with Illinois versus Arizona. Illinois has been so close so many times. Brad Underwood, could this be the year? Yes, it is. Give me the Illinois Fighting Illini into the national championship game, April 8th. They will take on somebody I will say here in a second.
So I'm sorry, you said you were taking Illinois, right?
Yes.
Or I should say Illinois. Illinois. I will be taking in the first game in the Final Four the UConn Huskies over the Arizona Wildcats. So I'll have UConn playing for a second straight national title.
I also have UConn moving forward against North Carolina.
Houston versus South Carolina in my Final Four out of the South/Midwest region. Man, this one's tough for me, okay? Because I'm a big Gamecock fan. Really am.
Yeah, you're dumb. Quit overthinking it, all right?
What do you mean?
I
Yeah,
mean,
you're right. You're right. It's the
It's gone
Cougars.
too far.
It's the Cougars. It's Houston. It's Houston.
all right, well, it's written down so you can't change.
I'm not changing.
Yeah, I have Houston taking on Creighton in the Final Four. I have Houston advancing to the national championship game to take on UConn.
I have Houston playing Tennessee, and Houston is going to be moving on.
Do we still have
I think
Q-Tip?
we lost.
It does not appear.
Yeah, I think we lost
have
him.
Q-Tip anymore. So yeah, I'll just go back and go over my championship game is UConn versus Houston. Kylie, what is your championship game?
It is also UConn and Houston, and I have.
Okay, so you.
Are we going for it?
No, we'll wait to give our national championship picks when we have Q-Tip back. He has Illinois taking on Houston in his championship game. So we all have Houston. It's gonna suck if we all end up picking Houston, but we'll figure that out whenever we get young Q-Tip.
If we're
back
wrong,
here.
we all lose then.
Yes. But yeah, look, I mean, I feel pretty confident in my bracket, but I always do like 2 days before the tournament starts. And then the tournament starts and I lose like the first 3 games and I want to rip it in half and throw it away.
I know this is going to be 100%.
Yeah, I'm very much a person that loves to, and looks like we have him back. Well, Adam, you there?
Dude, my internet really went out this time. I don't understand what I did.
All right, well, give us your national champion pick. You have Illinois taking on Houston.
All right, it's going to be the Houston Cougars. Houston wins it all. And we finally get a Houston title after all these years. The Big 12 is just what the Houston Cougars needed. So
yeah. Now, do you have a final score for me?
I have a score of, let's go 62 to 50 Houston. 12-point victory.
62 to 50. God, they're not scoring any points in that game.
Low scoring game, just the way Houston wants it. Houston doesn't allow. I think it's 57 points a game is their average. It's a national title game. Illinois is going to be pressing. Johnson gets cold. Houston beats the Illinois Fighting Illini.
All right, my national championship game is UConn taking on the Houston Cougars, and I have Houston winning by a final score of 87 to 83. I think it's a national championship game. They're putting up some points. Everyone's going to be tired. They've been playing for 10 months, it seems like. But give me Kelvin Sampson and the Houston Cougars as the national champion.
Yes, I have Houston coming out over UConn.
We all picked
Houston. So yeah, if we're wrong, we all lose.
All right. So
they look so good. I don't see a way that they lose unless they get like more injured than they were in the Big 12 tournament.
Yeah, I mean, the only way they lose is if LJ Cryer, chokes it away or Shed misses a bunch of shots. It should be a very fun game, but this definitely means that Houston's not winning the national title.
Oh yeah, 100%. So if you're seeing this and you haven't submitted any picks, make sure you change everything because we all just very much agreed that Houston will win the national title.
Yeah. So good luck to the Houston Cougars. It's going to be a very fun tournament. We are going to be off for a while. Preston is going to Austin. I am going to Vegas. So we will probably be back with you
late next week.
Late next week. We got to check all of our schedules. Preston's a very busy person. He's too big for us now, is the issue. So he doesn't have time for our silly games. He made that clear whenever I was trying to get him to crack, and he didn't. He's a pro now. He's kind of like Doug Gottlieb. He just kind of puts himself in jobs.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. All right. That'll do it for us. Make sure and follow us on Twitter at QTip47, at PrestonPool405, at Kylie Osborne, at Sports Animal on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook is where you can check out our live stream. We are live every single week. Make sure and give us a follow.